Good day, good evening, or good morning, depending on what time zone you're in. Pelicans Daily presented by Fan Arch. I'm your host, Dylan Bruton. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, because when you're chilling with Dill, you already know the drill. Well, first off, again, much love as always. Appreciate y'all. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it going. Man. Oh, man. 0 and 5. The dreaded number. The dreaded number. I was saying last video, by any means necessary, do not let yourselves get the 0 and 5. Do not. At least walk out with a W. At least leave the gym on a high note. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Now, this was a game that was winnable. This was a game that, was it was possible for us to come out on top, but just the offensive explosion, man. Those Pacers. I mean, we had our best scoring game. We lost 113 to 104. We had our best scoring game. We finally cracked over 100 points. And in most situations in life, when you score over 100 in anything, right, you're likely gonna win. But unless you're playing a team who got more firepower, who got more ammo than you, and that just was the case. Um, it was tough because there was definitely moments where you could see, like, all right, this is the moment where they're gonna make that turn. They're gonna really hit the ground running with the momentum, and Indiana just kept going nuclear. Particularly with Robert Baker. I didn't even talk about him, right? He kind of came out of nowhere in a sense. I'm not nowhere, but you know what I'm saying. Like I didn't talk about him in like my pre like predictions and preview, and he put up 26, 10, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks on 11 for 18 from the field and 4 for 10 from three. I mean, there was little that he couldn't do out there. The Pacers shot nearly 49% from the field, 31% from three, and 65% from the free throw line. Um, they they were just out there firing it away, man. They were out there with the snipers. You know, guys like you know guys like um, guys like Ray J. Dennis, guys like Kisei Tamaga. Like I didn't really talk about Kisei, and he was balling. Um, Philip Wheeler had a big game just in general for them. 19 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, 6 of 10 shooting, 6 from the free throw line. Like I said, you don't want to foul him. He's not the big man that you want to foul. Enrique Freeman, who I said was their best player, put up 14, 10, a steal, 2 blocks, 7 of 8 from the field. Ray J, who I just mentioned, put up 15, 2 boards, 11 assists on 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 7 from three, and 2 for 3 from the free throw line. And then Kisei put up 12 a board, 4 of 13 from the field, 2 of 8 from three, and 2 of 2 from the free throw line. I mean, they played a better game than us. There's just really no other way to slice it. There's no other way to slice it. But it wasn't like we were just getting ran out the gym. It wasn't like we didn't have a fighting chance. No, it's just that their firepower was a lot. But we won the rebounding battle. I said that was going to be one of the biggest keys was winning the rebounding battle. We did. We out rebounded them 46 to 39. But they out assisted us 29 to 22, outstole us 10 to 4, and outblocked us 8 to 4. And we also lost the turnover battle 16 to 11. And I said the two biggest keys, aside from having our best offensive game, which we did. So look, I was wrong in the projection, but I at least got one of the three, 33%. We'll take it, right? We had our best offensive game in the sense of total scoring output, but but the turnover battle, right? Actually, no, I got two of the three, so that's like 67%. So I got two or three of my projections right. But we just, defensively we couldn't stop them enough, right? But we won the rebounding battle. We controlled the glass, and we um, we had our best offensive game. But the turnovers were killer because it kept being a momentum shifter, and they were active. They were ready. Like I said, Rob Baker, 2 steals. Ray J. Dennis was playing. He didn't get any steals, but he was playing very physical defense. Enrique had a steal. Philip Wheeler had a steal. You know what I'm saying? Like they were active, they were engaged as possible. With us, you know what I'm saying, Jeremiah Fears led the charge. He had a great game to close out the summer league. 22 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals. I mean, he was doing his thing. Jeremiah was like, I showed up. I don't know about everybody else on the defensive end. I showed up and he got a block. 7 to 16 from the field, 1 to 5 from 3, and 7 to 10 from the free throw line. He closed out the summer league averaging 17 a game, nearly 4 boards, nearly 3 assists, a steal on 40% from the field, 18 from 3, which that's got to get better, and 71% from the free throw line. Overall, I'm very impressed with what I saw from Jeremiah Fears. He showed the confidence, he showed the lead guard ability, and the more he trusts his teammates, the more he gets comfortable as a distributor. The sky's the limit for the young man. So I'm proud with what I saw from Jeremiah Fears. But we still had a couple other good performances. Keon Brooks, who I'll talk more probably next video just because of the news with Derrick Queen and then some stuff with Joe Dumars and Zion. Otherwise, I was going to talk about him. But he put up 16 a game, 4 boards, 3 assists, 7-14 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 1 from the free throw line. Antonio Reeves put up 18, 4 and 2, which was a great bounce back from his tough game that he had versus OKC. 7 to 12 from the field, 4 6 from 3, and he finishes the summer league averaging 14 a game, 3 boards, nearly assisted a game, nearly a steal on 46% from the field, 31 from 3, and perfect from the free throw line. So hopefully we bring Antonio back because I feel like he showed improved and he was definitely like obviously Jeremiah had the ball a little bit more to be kind of the alpha, but I feel like Reeves as well was that for us. And then even Hunter Dickinson, who has not been getting a lot of love in the fan space and the media space by different people with the Pelicans, but he had probably his best game: 10 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, 2 blocks, 5-8 from the field. He didn't make any threes that he attempted, but you still see the courage to take those shots, the ability to stretch the floor if need be. And then in the low post, he was doing his thing with that little jump hook. So overall, it's disappointing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's very disappointing and it's concerning. 0-5, we had an opportunity. But hope is not all lost. The season does not start until October. Preseason doesn't start until October. So there's still time, but we have to really lock in and figure out our identity and keep building the culture, because you can't be going into the summer. You can't be leaving the summer league going 0-5. Now, again, as I've said before, plenty of teams have done well in the summer league and then done jacked when the season came. But you want to win as much as you can. And I do believe, like Primetime Pelicans was saying, if we participated in all the summer league tournaments, from the one in California and the one in Utah, that would have paid dividends, because it would have allowed us to come in and be a little bit less, I don't want to say disoriented, but clearly there was some rust. Clearly. So, hey, it is what it is. But gotta talk about my guy Derrick Queen, because if he was out there, we likely would have won. If Eve was out there, we would have won too. I don't get why, because it's like size was the advantage that we had over them. We out rebounded them. Imagine if we have 3 bigs instead of just 1. What's his name? The other backup big, Baker, for us. He did decent, but you know what I'm saying? Imagine if we had our actual guys that are likely going to be on the roster, that are going to be on the roster. Let me just say that, because even Derrick Queen are going to be on the roster. But speaking of Mr. Derrick Queen, right? Derrick Queen is unfortunately now out with a torn scapulinate, I think is how you call it. I don't know. Ligament in his left wrist. I tried, y'all. And he's going to be out for 12 weeks, and he just had surgery. He finishes the summer league averaging 14 a game, 11 boards, 2 assists, a block, nearly 44% from the field, 58% from the three-point line, and 72% from the free throw line. So I was impressed with what I saw of Derrick Queen. He showed exactly why we made the investment, why we even went for that trade, and I think he's going to have a great career with us. And hopefully he gets better soon. But the thing is, I saw some people, particularly Chris Lambert. I promise y'all, I rock with Chris. I really do. I'd have a beer with Chris, but I would tell him, yo, bro, like maybe a little less negativity. Just a little bit. Find something positive. Find the silver lining. There's always a rhyme and reason with things. But uh, you know, he's a little bit you know, pessimistic about, oh well, President Dumars has hitched his future and wagon to him, and now he's hurt. But it's like, okay, 12 weeks. Preseason doesn't start till October. Season doesn't start till October. End of October. I'm not worried, right? It's a wrist injury. It's not saying you can take that lightly, but it's not even in his playing hand. He's right-handed. So I'm kind of like, again, let's not turn a molehill into a mountain, or turn mountains into molehills, or whatever the phrase is. You know what I mean? Don't cry over spilled milk. He's gonna be out for 12 weeks. He'll be back a little bit before training camp. Okay. I'm not worried. He showed enough in a sample size that shows me that the more experience he gets, the better. Yes, he might have a little rust coming back, but hey, this is your time to go through and learn and just go through the process. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not worried. Am I gonna be green and be just like, oh, it's whatever? No. But I'm not gonna be over here, oh, it's over. It's cooked for us. Like, I don't know why. Again, I don't know why that is like the go-to reaction. That's just not how I'm raised, though. So I guess I look at it like, hey, everybody ain't me. Everybody ain't me. So yeah, hopefully Derrick Queen gets back healthy and soon. I was very impressed with what I saw him in the summer league, and I felt like he was getting better, showing his skill, and he's gonna do that with us when the season hits. So let's talk about the active roster. President Dumars was once again quoted on Zion Williamson. This was an article by Chris Lambert. So shout out to Chris Lambert. Shout out to I give praise where praise is due at the end of the day. And this was an interview that Joe Dumars did with Anscape, and they also asked him about Jeremiah Fears and Derrick Queen, and also asked him about why they made the trade, and asked him about the signing of Jordan Poole. Like they really went in depth. It was a good interview. But I just wanted to pull the quote from about Zion, and he said, "We are in constant contact with each other. I've talked to him about the responsibility of being great and the responsibility of being a leader, of being a captain, of being the best player, of being the face of a franchise. I've talked to him about how all these things come with responsibility, and how it's time now at 25 years old to embrace those responsibilities." Couldn't have said it any better, President. Couldn't have said it any better. That's facts. At the end of the day, Zion is at an age where, okay, you're no longer the young puppy, right? But you're not the biggest dog yet, but you're getting there. You know what I'm saying? Look at it like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, right? You're no longer a Padawan, and you're not yet a Jedi Master, but you are a Jedi Knight. And if you want to get to that level of being a Jedi Master, now is the time to show and prove. Now is the time to level up. How we all know you can do it. Chris Lambert was saying he's a top 15 player, and I think that's a fair ranking, because again, 25, 7, and 5 in less than 30 minutes a game does not grow on trees. But Zion, we know talent-wise, could easily be top 10, easily be top 5, and honestly could be the best player in the league if he puts it all together. That's the key. He's got to put it all together. That includes being more disciplined with his weight, right? Being more disciplined off the court. Not even going, but y'all, if you know, you know. And just being as ready and dominant, imposing your will, making the defense's life misery. And on the other end, don't make anything easy for the offense. Don't. So it goes without saying, man. I've been, you know what I'm saying, I'm Team Zion. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to deny it. President Dumars is too. Like I've been saying, right? When President Dumars sent Zion back when he sent him to the draft lottery, back when the draft happened, when right before the draft was happening, that was all intentional. That was all by design. And it's because Joe sees something. President Dumars sees something in Zion. But he's not going to enable him. He's not going to just let him run rampant and do whatever. No, he still has to show up and be ready. He still has to be able. Because if you're unable to do that, able. But if you're unable to do that, then that's a problem. You're at an age where the margins for excuses are dwindling. But you also have a lot on your plate, and it's fine to acknowledge that. But learn from those who have done it. Learn from those who have been around it. Learn from those who can give you the wisdom. And Zion very much seems like a student of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he talks quite passionately about NBA history, music history. Just he's a very informed young man. So I have no doubt in my mind that he's locking in right now, trying to get focused, trying to get right, because there is a lot of scrutiny around him. He's not fully lived up to what we've all expected him to be. But I still believe in him. I still believe he has the capability. It just comes down to discipline in all aspects. And as long as he does that, then the rest of it it's going to be seamless for him. It's going to fall in line. So yeah, no much else got to be said, but just got to give a highlight to that. It was a great interview by President Dumars. Definitely check it out. Shout out to Enscape, by the way. But it just goes to show President Dumars' character, that he speaks so highly of him. And now, my favorite part, responding to y'all. First, my guy Ricky Pronia, 2494. I've been a New Orleans basketball fan since day one. I remember Pistol Pete playing and Hot Rod Hundley announcing the games on the radio, praying for a very good season. And that's love right there, because even Quinty said, we old cat, because I remember all that, even going to the game in the Dome. Like, I appreciate y'all for being day ones, for being, trailblazers. Seriously, for being fans that long and still having the love today. And that to me, like, I always respect that. Any sports fans I meet, that your love endures. You don't just jump ship when it's convenient and easy to, because it's easy to do that, right? I got friends who all love to them, but they like that video of Gilbert Arenas on not draft night of the finals, when as soon as Halliburton hit that game winner, he threw off his OKC jersey and had a Pacers jersey underneath. Like, that was shameless. Gil is hilarious, so he could pull it off, but it's like, or like when Wallow from $1 Million Worth of Game, whoever's in the Super Bowl, NBA Finals, he's all of a sudden their biggest fan. He got all their merch. Like, it's hilarious, and they know what they're doing. But I know people in real life who do stuff like that, and I'm like, I can't co-sign that. Like, I'm not mad at it at all. Like, live your life, do whatever makes you happy. But I personally can't do that. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Once I rock with you, I rock with you. You know what I'm saying? Unless you do something that's so off and uncharacteristic, whatever. But that type of stuff, no. But it's hilarious, like, like the way that Gilly be joking on Wallow, how like infrequently he's an Eagles fan. You know what I'm saying? While Gilly's like 10 toes down an Eagles fan. Like, it's stuff like that. It's funny. I rock with it. But like, come on, man. Come on, man. But like, at least in Wallow and Gilbert Arenas' defense, like they allow the jokes and they play into it. Like, they're not over here trying to be really like, nah, I've been a day one fan since So the fact that you have been a fan since the Pistol Pete days, since Hot Rod Hundley, rest in peace to both of them. But as a journalist, like, Hot Rod Hundley is definitely an inspiration of someone who I've looked up to before. Salute, Ricky. And I always appreciate your comments, especially. You know what I'm saying? So your next one saying, I love your enthusiasm. Right back at you, my man. I appreciate it because, you're a day one fan, and I only want to make sure that y'all are actually being heard and respected. Because I feel like, not to go on a tangent, but the biggest issue I have with the NBA is that they disrespect the older fans. Fans like y'all who really been 10 toes down. And I understand that there has to be a middle ground between the old and the new. There has to be that. And I try to be that bridge. I try to be someone who can see it from both perspectives and be someone who can, incite and inspire dialogue that actually pushes the game forward, right? Not just because what does that do? It doesn't accomplish jack. Um, but I get mad for y'all and for the people like me who grew up with that older fan lineage in their family, and that's how that type of passion and dedication to a team and its history. That's how I was raised, and just for the game in general. Like I was raised to respect the game of basketball in whole in total. My mother, when I was a baby, would sit me in front of the TV and she had taped Bulls games on VHS. That's how old I am. But I was born the end of '98, so it makes sense, right? And I would watch old Jordan footage as a baby. Granted, I don't know what a pick and roll is. I don't know what a 2-3 is. I don't know what the try. I don't know what the a 1-3-1 or the triangle offense is. I don't know none of that. But I was watching from the jump as a youngin, so that's where my foundation comes from. That's why I'm so passionate about the game, and I feel like they disincentivize fans of the game who love the game, who love the lore, because there's all this discourse in the media, and then just the NBA doesn't promote enough the respect for the history. And it's a cultural issue in my opinion, because that type of stuff doesn't fly in the NFL or the MLB. I feel like the MLB, it's more so they need to learn how to actually incentivize younger people to take the history serious, because there's a lot of great baseball history that kids should be knowing about. But with the NFL, they do a great job of that. They highlight it, and the NBA needs to do a lot more. That's why you got these kids running around saying wild, off the cuff stuff, calling players from the NBA at 50 and NBA at 75 plumbers. It's disrespectful. It's very disrespectful, especially since back in the days, right, when the salary wasn't like what it used to be. Some of these guys did have to take on manual labor jobs like being a plumber or being a craftsman or being a mechanic. And there's no shame in that as a man. There's none. I'm a journalist. I got my degree in something that I don't have to get my hands dirty in the same way. But I respect any man who earns his living and takes care of his family by getting his hands dirty. Because a lot of people today don't want to do that. But if you can do it, it shows resilience and it shows ambition. I know I'm going on a whole tangent, but I just want to connect the overarching point that it's the fans like y'all that I do this for, especially because I want to show not all of us youngins out here, because I'm still quote unquote a youngin, right? I'm 26 going on 27, so whatever. I'm old enough to sit at the grown folk table, but not necessarily the age where people are like, where your family at? Like I'm right there. I'm knocking on the door, but I'm not fully there, right? But I very much am passionate about showing, like, I'm a student of the game. I'm someone who has knowledge, and I only want to push it forward because it's the knowledge of the game. It's the respect for the history, for why the game is at what it is now. There is always a foundation. If you don't respect the forefathers, just like if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. Seriously. If it just all goes back to being informed, being knowledgeable. Ignorance does not do anything except cause obstruction to anything that's moving forward. And that's just a parable for life. That goes beyond just sports, but in general, right? The more informed you are, the more likely you are to do better. Because again, when you know better, you do better. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox with that one. But Ricky, you're a day one guy that has been supporting me. So I just want to show you the love back, give you your flowers, and it's stuff like that keeps me going and keeps me fueled. Shaq 68, yes, Derrick had surgery today, out at least 12 weeks. Yeah, that was something that had missed my eye, but I'm glad I was able to cover it in this, and just hoping for Derrick to get back, ready and able, and he'll be back before preseason. He'll be back before the season, so I got faith he's going to be good. And then my guy, Christopher Church, 2653, always showing love in the comment section. What would be an acceptable floor for fears? I think Jordan Poole is like the most acceptable floor, which we got him on the roster now, right? And Jordan Poole is a big reason for why the Warriors won in 2022. And perhaps had Draymond Green not Roy Jones Superman punched them, they might go back to back in 2023. But that caused a whole ripple in their chemistry as a team, and that's why they were so disjointed. But I think Jordan Poole is like the ultimate floor. But ceiling, I think Jeremiah Fears' potential is incredibly high. You know what I'm saying? I see shades of John Wall. I see Kyrie. I see D Rose. And I know that's a lot of pressure to put on a young player. I'm not saying that that's the sole expectation. But if he can reach those levels, then perfect, right? Obviously. But with a jumper. And that's why I'm not worried about this 18% from three. He's got the ability to knock the shots down. He's got the confidence to take them. It's just going to come down to consistency. So, I'm excited to see what he does. And Christopher said, can every team play in the other summer leagues? That's a good question. I'm definitely going to look into that, but I definitely think that we, again, should, because that development and that further refinement, it goes a long way. And that way you're able to get your weight up, get your reps up, and not feel like, whew, man, we weren't ready for what they came through here with. But it's like, nah, we are. We're battle tested. So, yeah. But anyway, y'all, I appreciate the love and support. Keep it going, keep it rolling, keep it flowing. I'm actually about to go to the summer league myself, so I gotta get ready a little bit, clean myself up, because I just threw this on. But I'm gonna wear something a little more fly, a little more casual. But I'm gonna be at the summer league. So if you here in Vegas, if you outside, hit a brother up. Don't be scared. You know what I'm saying? I don't bite. I'm fun to be around. But continue to support, continue to show love. Shout out to Fan Arch for, again, amazing platform, amazing people, doing a lot of great things with sports content. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. You know the drill when you're chilling with Dill. Have a great day, and enjoy some hoops. Do something fun. There's a lot of stuff going on with hoops. You know what I'm saying? WNBA All-Star Game, I think, was last night. I gotta watch the highlights for that. And there's a lot more of exciting stuff going on. So, you know what I'm saying? Stay blessed. Y'all have a good one, though.